An amazing journey, getting to this point and having the success that we've had over the years. But now it's time for a new challenge. And looking at these guys up front, Eric Bieniemy is fired up. He's fired up. And you guys will figure that out real soon. I also like to thank Jason, my man Mayhew, Stokes, and Coach Rivera for giving me this opportunity to accept this challenge, but also I'm just looking forward to helping us to climb to the next level. And one thing you guys are going to learn about me, I'm going to bring some energy, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. But there's a journey that needs to be done, and we'll start that process. So with that said, I'm all ears. First question. I thought you would be the first, Miss Nikki, since you jammed me up at the Super Bowl.
Eric, John Keim, ESPN. Why Washington? What appealed to you? What appealed about this job to you?
Why not Washington? Look at all the talent. Look at the players that they have. Okay? Look at the guys that they have on defense. So I'm excited about this opportunity. I've known Coach Ron now since 1999. So relationships mean something. I've known Coach Mayhew for a number of years, and that means something. I've known Mr. Stokes for a number of years. And so I have no doubt about what they're building here. Obviously, they went to the playoffs in the previous year. So they were basically real close this year of going. So I have never, ever backed down from a challenge. So I'm embracing this challenge. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm excited when it's time to start talking ball with these guys, to start getting to work. But when it's all said and done with, why not Washington?
And did you feel like if you wanted to elevate to being a head coach one day that you had to make this kind of a move to kind of put your own full stamp on an offense?
Being a head coach right now is not in my thought process. Right now, here's what I'm focused on. I'm focusing on being the best coach that I can be today, okay? The rest of everything else will take care of itself starting tomorrow. I live in the moment, okay? So I got to be implanted, and Nikki know exactly what I'm about to say. I got to be where my feet are. So right now, my feet are planted right here.
Thanks for that. Just Nikki Jabala, first of all, with the Washington Post. Generally, what is your vision for this offense?
My vision is this. I just want to make sure that these guys understand that there's a way in which I know how to do it. But on top of that, I got to make sure that I'm putting these guys in the best situation to be the most explosive, the most dynamic, and also, more importantly, giving us the best opportunity to be successful. So that's one thing, okay? But when it's all said and done with, we're going to do this. We're going to play hard. We're going to play fast. We're going to have a sense of urgency and a sense of purpose in everything that we do. And that's where it starts, okay? And it's all about being accountable as well, understanding the fact that indirectly we all impact each other's lives. So it's my job to make sure I'm doing what is right by them. But on top of that, they got to make sure that they're doing right by each other. So my envision right now is making sure that process take care of itself. The X's and O's will take care of itself. These guys, they know football, okay? They understand football. These guys are professional players for a reason, okay? Now, only thing that's going to change, the verbiage may change. Some of the route concepts, the way we term them may change. But when it's all said and done with, it's football. And if we love what we do, we'll have the success that we need to have, as long as we're investing in it the right way.
Hi, Eric. Matt Paris from the Washington Times. Nice to meet you.
How you doing, Matt?
Just curious, over the last couple of days, or when you were interviewing for the job, what did you kind of try and tell Rivera and everyone just why you were the right guy for the job, and what was kind of the message that you wanted to get across?
Well, more than anything, it was just an opportunity to spend time with everyone and just visiting with Coach Rivera, visiting with the entire staff, and just taking my time and just getting to know people. I think more than anything, when you come into an environment, the best thing that you can do is just listen. And so I'm a great listener. I love to hear what is taking place. I love to hear some of the the coaches, the assistant coaches, and what they've done with these particular players and what they've done here as over the past few years. And sometimes just listening, you have an opportunity to learn and observe. And so that was the biggest thing for me, more than anything, just listening and having an opportunity to getting to know the people. Because when it's all said and done with, I know a lot of people don't like this, but this is a people's business. You got to be able to get to know the people, all right? And that's going to be my job, fellas. You're going to understand this when I say this. It's my job to making sure that I can get to know the people so I can get the best out of the player.
Hey, Eric, Sam Fortier with the Washington Post. When did this job get on your radar, and how would you describe the process of getting here today?
Well, the job, it was on my, I shouldn't say it was on my radar because obviously we've had a number of things we had to take care of over the past few weeks. But knowing Coach Rivera, you're always in contact with the people that you've known for years. I've followed Coach Rivera's career since our days when we were together with Philly. Obviously, he coached with the Chargers. He's done a number of things. Obviously, he had a great deal of success with Carolina as a head coach, and now he's here. And so you always follow the people that had an impact on you. And so my whole thing is that, these guys have given me this opportunity, and so I'm looking forward to sharing this space today and looking forward to working day by day and getting ready to chop this wood that we're going to start chopping here soon.
And specifically, what are the main differences and responsibilities from KCOC to OC here?
Well, the difference is this, is that now I'm the offensive coordinator here, okay? The rest of the stuff, me and Coach Rivera, we're going to work that out. I'm just excited and fired up about the opportunity of getting to work with these men up front.
Hey, Eric, Pete Haley with NBC. You keep referencing a lot of the players who are here. Just what are some of your general thoughts about the roster and the talent that's available to you now?
Well, personally, I have a lot of thoughts, and I can sit here and point out all the great things that some of these guys have done throughout their career, but that's not important right now. What's important is this. I got to evaluate every player on this roster, and I haven't had an opportunity to do that. Okay, a lot of these guys I've talked to at the Combine, I've followed their careers, and obviously we've played against each other, so I've had an opportunity to watch some of these guys play. So obviously there's some talent here, but I'm going to do my job with Mr. Mayhew. On top of that, with Coach Rivera, Marty Herney, and Stokes, just making sure that we're doing the right things and making sure that we're evaluating and doing what is right for the organization, for the team moving forward.
And a lot was made maybe about how Andy called the plays in Kansas City. What was your role necessarily? But here you're going to be the main guy. How do you anticipate that, and do you think that is going to be a challenge, or is that something you're really ready for?
Fired up for it, bro. Fired up and excited.
Michael Phillips from Richmond. Did you have a chance to talk to ownership during this process, and did you get any questions answered about the sale process and how that impacts things?
So Coach Rivera was the lead person in this hiring process, obviously. I've had an opportunity to spend time with Mr. Wright and Mr. Mayhew, just like I said. But when it's all said and done with all that stuff, that's not my job title, okay? Those guys will take care of that.
NBC Sports Washington. How important was it for you to have the assistant head coach title kind of on top of OC?
Well, I think it's very important for a number of reasons, and the beauty of it is me and Coach Rivera will work through that. At the end of the day, Eric Bieniemy is a ball coach. At the end of the day, Eric Bieniemy wants to know the people who he's going to work with. Eric Bieniemy wants to make sure that these guys understand that, we're going to learn to put consistent behavior on tape, all right? But also understanding that when we're playing for each other and doing things for the greater good of the organization, also seeing the big picture, that this game ain't that hard. It can be a whole lot of fun, but it's going to be fun when you're making the necessary sacrifices to make each other better, all right? That's some of the things that I'm excited about. Those are some of the things I'm looking forward to. And so when it comes to job titles and all that, you guys got to understand, yes, I am the assistant head coach. I am the offensive coordinator. My job is to get these guys to go out and do and be the best that they can be. So that's going to be my focus right now.
Eric, Scott Abraham, ABC7, welcome to Washington. You're a competitor at the end of the day, player, coach. You've gone through numerous interview processes over the years for various jobs. It didn't work out. How much is that serving as a motivator for you to prove those naysayers wrong, those doubters wrong, that you can be a head coach down the road and lead an offense?
So, and I'll keep saying this, right now I'm the the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. Okay, being a head coach, that's something, if that's to happen, it'll take care of itself. We've had a great deal of success. We've won, 5 straight AFC championship games, 3 out of 4 Super Bowls, 2 out of those we won. So being a head coach right now, it hasn't happened. It's not anything that's going to impact me moving forward, because the only thing I need to be concerned with, it's what's important today. Today, I got to be the best person that I can be. I got to be the best coach that I can be. And on top of that, I got to get these guys in this building to learn to trust me, to get to know me, but also understanding what the term accountability means. And so I have to be accountable to these men. All right, so all that stuff about being a head coach, we could talk about that next year sometime. Right now, I'm focused on the job at hand.
On your response, you said the players, you need them to trust you.
Yes, sir.
How is that process? How do you get them to trust you, to buy in what you're selling?
Great question. That's about developing relationships, okay? And you got to get to know the people. And that's one thing I think that gets lost in this profession. Just because they're professional football players don't necessarily mean you can't get to know them. These are the same guys that played high school football. These are the same guys that played college ball. These are the same guys that was drafted. I've been through that process, okay? So at the end of the day, the only thing that you want to do is get to know the people that you're working with. And once you get to know the people, now it gives you an opportunity to motivate and inspire. Everybody takes information different, all right? So you got to be able to objectively be able to reach them in a certain way. So that's my job more than anything right now.
Hi, Eric. Heather McDonough, NBC4. Also, welcome to Washington.
Thank you.
Was it going to need to be, what was it going to need to be, I guess, for you to leave Kansas City, a place that you had so much success? What kind of deal was it going to have to be, whether it's the play calling, to leave such a great situation that you seem to be in?
So I'll say this. In 10 years, we've had a great deal of success, all right? For the past 5 years, I've been the offensive coordinator. We've had a great deal of success. It's been 10 years. I was blessed and fortunate to have that opportunity and share that space with some amazing people, okay? But one thing in this profession you learn, comfort is the enemy of progress, okay? So when it's all said and done with, I don't like being comfortable. So I'm about accepting challenges and moving forward. So this presents a challenge to me, all right? Also, it presents a challenge to come and work with such a great head coach and a head man. But on top of that, I'm willing to embrace this journey, okay? And my job is to embrace this journey with the people that are in this building right now, okay? Embrace this journey with Mr. Wright, with Mr. Mayhew, with Mr. Rivera, all right, and Mr. Stokes, wherever he is. And there's a great deal of coaches on this staff. We're going to embrace this journey together, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to have some good days. We're going to have some bad days. But you know what? That ain't going to change our behavior. That ain't going to change our focus, and that's not going to change our determination. So we're going to focus on the prize, but we're going to focus on the prize one step, one play, and one day at a time.
I think another group, which is real quick, ready to embrace the journey, are the fans. Do you have a message for the fans who are probably very excited to have a Super Bowl champ coming to town?
Well, I'll just say this. I think it's Hail Commanders. Did I say that right? Maybe I ain't say that with enough enthusiasm. Hail Commanders, right? And I normally would say it in a different term, but we got to make sure we get a little bit more comfortable with each other throughout the course of the year. But like I said, I'm fired up. The fans should be fired up about this. And the only thing I ask, just be patient. Nothing happens overnight. We're going to build it. And like I said, the important thing is making sure that we're doing it the right way. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard challenge. In anything in life, if you want to be the best, it has to be hard, okay? And it doesn't have to always be perfect. At the end of the day, if you learn the strain and if it's important to you, you'll find a way to get it done, all right? But that's what this process is going to be about. And it starts with OTAs in phase 1. It starts in OTAs in phase 2. It starts in OTAs with phase 3. Then it goes to that vet minicamp, all right? And then on top of that, we get some time off. Then we go to training camp, all right? And training camp is that time when we start building together with all the blood, sweat, and tears that we're going to share. We're going to have good days. We're going to have bad days. There's going to be some days, Jack Del Rio and his defense, they're going to beat up on us, okay? The only thing I want to know is how we going to respond, okay, and handle the adversity when presented with that. That's how you measure good teams, and that's what this is about. Like I said, I'm ready to embrace this journey. I'm fired up. I'm excited about this moment, and like I said, I'm looking forward to it.
Eric David Aldridge with the Athletic.
Mr. Aldridge, it's
Yes,
nice
sir.
to meet you.
Welcome to D.C., my man. What are your non-negotiables as an offensive coach, as a coordinator with your players?
Lack of details, and understand this. I say that, and nothing is ever perfect, okay? But one thing that's very important to me is learning to make second effort a habit. So if you can't play with any effort, I got a personal problem with that, because it requires no God-given ability to play with second effort. And I'll say this once again, all right? Everybody in this league gets paid, and you don't necessarily always have to win pretty. If you go in and fight for 60 minutes and you're straining to finish and you're willing to make that necessary block downfield as a receiver to spring a back, or the back is necessarily picking up a blitz ready to fight him and put hands on him until the echo of the whistle and giving the quarterback an opportunity to throw it downfield, that's what it's about, okay? But we got to learn to like each other. We got to learn to embrace the process, but also, too, we got to learn to strain to finish. If you've ever wanted anything in life, you got to fight for it. And that's one thing we're going to learn to do. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily always have to be pretty, because when it's all said and done with, the only two alphabets that matter is a W or an L. That's all that matters. I don't care how we get it, as long as we find a way to get it together.
Also, who taught you about the importance of accountability?
Say that one more time, excuse me.
Who taught you about the importance of accountability?
Ooh, that's something I've learned throughout my entire career, as a player. Having an opportunity to be a personal protector on punt team, okay? Also, as a player, having to protect the quarterback on third down. Also, as a player, just taking tape home to study, all right? And on top of that, just always not wanting to get the quarterback hit. So accountability, indirectly, we all impact each other's lives, okay? And it's one thing that I learned as a player that I really didn't think about, when I was going through it, but I learned it, how important it was to be accountable to players. But the older I got, I also learned it was important to be accountable to coaches, because if you take work home and you're investing into your particular assignment or your particular job, it says a lot about you and your character, because when you're doing that, you're helping taking care of my family, okay? And my job is to make sure that I'm investing, doing all the little things necessary, studying tape, studying at home, making sure that I'm providing you guys the right information so you can be at your best. And I think sometimes that gets lost. So I learned that many moons ago when I was playing in the league, that you have to be accountable to one another, because what I do directly impacts your job. It impacts your future, just like what you do impacts me. So that's when I was just talking about the ability of having an opportunity of establishing trust, okay? So I've been through it as a player. On top of that, I've learned the importance of being accountable as a coach, and that means a lot to me. And so I've had plenty of lessons that have taken place throughout my lifetime. So you have to learn to be accountable, and it means so much, all right, to the success of any person or any organization.
Chris Boombaka with USA Today.
How you doing?
When did you realize that next challenge you mentioned would have to take place outside of Kansas City? And when, how were you able to balance that when you were going through it? I know you mentioned being where your feet are, but it must have been, balancing two trains of thoughts there.
Well, first of all, you got to be able to process information and be able to live in the moment, but also, too, you have to plan for your future. Did I have an idea that I would be leaving the Kansas City Chiefs? Yeah, I had an idea that I would be leaving. So you always envision it in a different way. But like I said, I've been there for 10 years. I've accomplished a lot of things there. You know, it was a great organization. It was a great time. There was a lot of family that has been made there. But now it's about broadening my circles, okay, and expanding and getting to know my new family, okay, and having an impact in helping this team and this organization to accomplish goals and things that we want to strive for. So you learn how to focus, all right, but you got to be able to process it. You got to put it in a different category. So did I have a plan? Yes, I did, okay, but that wasn't going to impact anything that we were looking to strive for throughout the course of the past season. All right, it did not become a distraction. But when it was all said and done with, when it was time to move on, it was time for me to go and accept this new challenge and embrace it.
Coach
Yes,
Bieniemy, Darren Haynes, WSA9, welcome to Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
It's been well documented that you wanted to be a head coach, but I want you to describe that moment when you made that decision, where you were when you decided, I'm going to come to D.C.
Well, it was shortly after the Super Bowl. We had got everything arranged, and I was ready. Now, obviously, it was throughout that process, and the past 2 weeks has been physically and emotionally draining, and in a good way, all right? Because we went from winning a Super Bowl to coming back, flying back in town, getting acclimated, going through exit meetings, and then going through the parade. But I knew when I landed back in Kansas City what was in store. So I knew that it was time to move on. So you're talking about the different waves of emotions that I experienced, just having that opportunity just to say goodbye to the players, spending that time throughout the parade of just feeling the emotions from the fans. And so I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and this is why I'm here. But one thing you guys have learned about me, yes, I'm very appreciative and thankful and grateful for the opportunity that was presented. But on top of that, okay, when I knew I was getting on that plane, I knew exactly what was going to take place.
Obviously, since Ron Rivera took over, has had some ups and downs, and Coach Rivera has definitely has this team trending up. What made you choose Washington despite all of that?
Like I said, okay, you guys have gotten to know Coach Rivera for the past few years. Coach Rivera is a man of integrity, okay? He's a great leader of men. So who wouldn't want that opportunity to come and work for a man of such high character? So this is why I'm here. And then I'll say this again. I'm not afraid of a challenge, okay? I've had 10 years of success with the Kansas City Chiefs. I said it before, I say it again. Comfort is the enemy of progress, okay? You can't be afraid of leaving a great situation to help yourself to grow and expand, all right? And then on top of that, you always got to be willing to expand your circles, all right, to expand your family members, to remain flexible in how you see and view things. And so this presents a whole entire new challenge that I'm willing to embrace, but also excited about it because I know the potential that's here. And I know that's a dangerous word, okay? But I know the potential that's here, all right? So, yeah, I'm fired up. I'm excited.
Hey, Eric. JP Finley, NBC4 and 106.7 The Fan. A lot of your former players, both after the Super Bowl, Mahomes and Kelsey, Tyreek Hill this past week came out and said how you pushed them to become better players and better men. How do you, I mean, you're talking different people, different positions, different players. How do you know when to push, when to prod, when to pull back? How do you figure that out?
Well, it goes back to just what I was just discussing. You have to get to know the people. Okay, you got to develop relationships with the people. Once upon a time, I was a high school player. Once upon a time, I was a collegiate player. And once upon a time, I was a professional ball player. But the thing that I had that I thought every coach did a great job of was that they did a great job of getting to know me. Okay, and so these guys, nothing has changed. All right, it's my job to continue developing those relationships because when I was a college coach, you had to get to know the guys. You had to go out and spend time with them and getting to know their family members. So what's changed? The only thing that's changed is, hell, they stepped up another level. Okay, they're getting paid for it. No, well, everybody's getting paid now in college. Hell. But these are the same young men, all right, that were being recruited. And so the dynamics of the relationships and how you build relationships and establish relationships with people, that does not change. It's about sitting down and getting to know the people. And that's how you get the best out of people, and that's how you get the best out of players. Now, you may have some success at times, and at times you may not. But it's not going to be because I fell short in getting to know who Brian Robinson is, you know, Antonio or Sam or Curtis, or any of them, you know, Terry. I mean, hell, you know, you have to get to know the people, all right? That's how you get the best out of your players.
These guys are here. They're sitting in front of me. When does the process begin? Has it begun?
Well, I mean, we can't talk any ball right now. I've texted a few of them, and they've been very, very good at getting back to me, which is outstanding, by the way, fellas. All right, because I know some of us can disappear. All right, and professional players have a way of disappearing. But I appreciate y'all taking the time and getting back to me, and that means a lot.
Welcome, Coach. And
I'm sorry, I
congratulations.
just saw him. Excuse me, Ricky. What's going on? Me and Ricky go back since high school.
Welcome, Coach. Congratulations, Dave
Thank you.
Harrison, Commander Country. Ron Rivera, Coach Rivera, and Martin Mayhew kind of made an emphasis at the end of the season about how they want to not necessarily improve, but kind of be more consistent with the run game and their game flow. How has your experience as an NFL running back and then again as a running backs coach in the National Football League help you improve that this season?
Well, first of all, as the offensive coordinator, we're going to do whatever the hell it takes to win. That's all that matters, okay? And one thing you guys are going to hear me talk about, I'm not a numbers guy, okay? You can go back and do all your research and look at all the press conferences I've done. I'm not concerned with numbers. I can care less what a runner rushes for. I can care less what a quarterback throws for. I can care less about what stats a receiver or a tight end may have receiving. The only thing that matters is did we win or did we lose? So we're going to play complementary football. We're going to do whatever the hell it takes for us to be victorious. That's all that matters. And if we're doing it the right way, guess what? The numbers will take care of itself.
Hey, Eric.
How you doing?
Ben Standig with The Athletic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know you said you're focused on the moment. You're not worried about the past or the future. I think a lot of your supporters, though, are not quite caught up to there yet. There's still people who are upset that you were not given the opportunity to be a head coach and don't love the journey to this point. What do you say to those people who are still fighting the fight of why you should be a head coach?
Well, I'll say this, and kudos to them, and everybody's entitled to their own stance and their own positioning. My job is to eliminate all the distractions, okay? My focus right now is here and now. I can't worry about the things I can't control. The only thing I can worry about right now is taking care of the business at hand. That's handling this press conference. After this press conference, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to start getting to some football stuff. The rest of everything else, as far as this journey is concerned, that will take care of itself along the line.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Andy Reid being one of those people who's been one of your supporters, what did Andy and Patrick Mahomes do to kind of make you a better coach and put you in position to succeed here?
Well, my relationship with Coach Reid goes back a number of years. It goes back to when he was recruiting in Southern California, and him playing against some of my high school coaches. So I've known about Coach Reid for a number of years. And Coach Reid has had a huge impact on my career. Obviously, I had an opportunity to play for him. But, he's a consistent individual. He's a creative mind. The thing that he's done a great job of is getting me to see the big picture with everything. And he was just an outstanding person, and sometimes like a father figure you can go and talk to, but also, too, he wore that head coach title for a reason. I can't tell you how many times he threatened to fire me. So, because I've taken him to that point at times. But he's taught me more importantly about consistency, and that's probably the most thing that I can speak highly of more than anything. Coach Reid is the same person that you saw when he walked in that building in 1999 with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's the same person today in 2023. Is that it?